dealing with data modeling and DAX, and our able facilitator is Mr. Rashid Oguniro. Mr. Rashid, welcome. Please go ahead and start, please. Hello, Mr. Rashid. Can you hear me, please?
Okay, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Confirm you can hear me.
I can hear you, please.
Okay,
Please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you. I will need to pull up my slides. Let me share my screen. Confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are joining from. So my name is Rashid Oguniro. So I used to be a supply chain professional, but at a point I deviated into data analytics proper. And so I major in Power BI and Excel. I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer, and I'm very, very big in communities. And here we are in Niger Data Platform. Niger Data Platform is all about impact, taking Microsoft's products to intending people that want to transit digitally. And so I'm privileged to be one of the co-lead of Niger Data Platform. So currently I coordinate the activities of the Microsoft Certified Trainer for Nigeria and West Africa. And at my level, I'm a member of Power BI group where I give free training to newbies. So that's just a little about myself. So today we're going to look at this, our agenda. We started with introduction to Microsoft Fabrics, and we'll do some things on data cleaning. So today we'll be looking at data modeling and DAX on Microsoft Fabric. So before I moved on, so these are essential links that we need to keep used to, that will give us a soft landing. So probably as the event goes on, I can just copy this and drop it on the chat room for everyone that wants to, go along with us. So I will start with this quote today. And my quote is that data analytics is the future. It's a quote from Radi. And it's telling us that data analytics is the future and the future is now. So as every mouse click, keyboard press, swipe, or tap is used to shape business decisions. So what that tells you is that as you click your mouse, you tap, you swipe your button, you are shaping business decision, because everything is about data these days. Data is information, and information is power. So I quickly go. I also need to touch Fabric. So what is Fabric? So Fabric is all-in-one analytic tools. When you look at data movements to data science, real-time analytics, and business intelligence, these are all-in-one analytics, and it offers a comprehensive suite. When you look at data lake, you look at data engineering, you look at data integration, all together, all these items that I made mention, they are in one place, not like before that you need to probably outsource vendor from different facets to manage your data and give you business decision. So with Fabric, you don't need to piece together different services from multiple vendors, as I've said earlier, but you can enjoy a highly integrated end-to-end, easy-to-use product that is designed to simplify your analytics needs. What that means is that whether you are a data engineering, whether you are a data analyst, whatever that you do, all of you are on the same platform and you can relate together. So the platform is SaaS, which is software as a service, which it takes simplicity and integration to a whole new level. So why fabrics? Why the old noise about fabric? People has been mentioning it, fabric. What is this all about? What is so special? And so the special thing for what I can see is that fabric brings together data engineering, data factory, data science, data warehouse, real-time analytics, and Power BI onto a SaaS foundation. And so all these experiences that I've mentioned provides these following advantages. Number one, you have access to an extensive range of integrated data analytics in the industry, shared experience that are similar and easy to learn. So if you're a developer, you can easily access and reuse all assets. You don't need to wait for somebody to send you a report. You can use shortcut. There are ways you can maneuver yourself on the platform and get whatever you need. And another advantage is that there is this unified data lake that allows you to retain data where it is, while you are using your preferred analytics tool. So the last one is that there is a centralized administration and governance across all experiences. So we shall be talking about, we shall review One Lake and Lake House. So what is this all about? So when you click on One Lake, you click on One Lake as OneDrive for data. A whole lot of us, we have used OneDrive in the past, and so which is a repo for all our information. So think of One Lake in that direction, while a lake house is a file inside One Lake. So I can say that when you have a very big warehouse, take One Lake as one big warehouse. Now, in that big warehouse, you can see a store inside a big warehouse. So lake house can represent a store, while One Lake can represent that big warehouse. And that is why I said it provides a scalable file storage in a One Lake store built on Azure Data Lake Store Gen 2. All your data. One Lake is an organization scale data lake for all your data analytics. And all your data goes into One Lake, allowing you to provision separate data wells and lake houses in workspaces. One Lake is a single unified logical data lake for your whole organization. Can we see the difference? So when you are looking at One Lake, then you're looking at lake house, so you can easily read it. And when you look at lake house, it gives you a way to use large amount of data while providing a single view that contains tools for storing, managing, and analyzing your data. It's also designed to use strengths of data lakes and data wells, and so on and so forth. This is a intelligent data foundation. Now, all these experiences we are looking at on my screen, in the time past, they are not together. And you see, organization will have to be outsourcing, services for service elementary, business KPI, finance, and the rest. But now they are all together in one platform. So you don't need to outsource. Everybody can play it out on that same platform. So this is the project architecture of what we shall be looking at together today, where, from One Lake, you create a workspace. From workplace, you create your lakehouse. From lakehouse, you create your data flow Gen 2. Then you move to pipeline, SQL endpoints, and so forth. So don't forget that we are looking at DAX and data modeling. So for the purpose of people that are newbie or they've not heard about DAX before, so we shall still need to revisit and look at the basics of DAX. So it's a collection of functions and operators and constant that can be used in a formula or expression, either to calculate or return one or more values. And this can help you to create your data model. So basically, what we use DAX for are majorly, for me, is about 4 measures: calculated column, calculated tables, and row level security. So these are DAX functions, datetime, numeric, and the rest. So DAX has certain syntax, and that's why I put it A, B, C, and D. So when you look at A, it tells you about the measure name. For the B is equals to. So the equals to it also help you to return results. And when you look at the C, this C is the dark sum, which add up sums of either sales amount or whatever that you have in your data model. So when you look at the D aspect, so the D is that parenthesis which surrounds an expression, one or more arguments, and in order to provide a value or function. Then E is it talks about the reference table, and F talks about the reference column. So I must read those. So those are the few DAX functions that we have. We try these exercises. So we look at data modeling also. What is data modeling? So as you can see in that diagram, it is a is explain the relationship and between table and multiple column, which establish a connection. As we can see, this here at the middle here is our fact table surrounded by our dimension table. So our dimension table, they answer the questions where, who buys our, what do they buy, then by who, which is who sold it. So it answers certain question that needs to also look at what primary and foreign key are, because those are what forms the basis for our data model. So the primary key is unique in nature, and it will never repeat itself in a record. Take for instance now, employee ID. Employee ID can never employee ID. If an employee is has a particular ID, say an employee is number 001, you cannot have another person that is number 001 again. So it's always unique in a record. And so we also have the foreign key that makes a relation to another table. So this key may or may not be unique in nature. That I'm talking about foreign key. Foreign key may and may not be unique. Then we look at the relationship, in Power BI, and also cardinality. So relationship gives us the ability to have fields, multiple tables, and field trainability across multiple tables. Why, when you look at cardinality, you look at cardinality from when you create a relationship between two tables. Of course, you get two values, which can either be 1, 2, or 2 ends in a relationship. So as we can see, the relationship between that sales table and store is the store ID in the diagram. We also look at cardinality. So what is cardinality? It can either be many to one or one to many. Many to many is very weak. Normally we don't use it, but the major one that we use more is one to many or many to one, as the case may be. So it's having a unique or multiple instances by value for the joining fields between two tables. And you can also say that it's excuse me, is the relationship, it defines the relationship to two tables. So cardinality refers to the relationship between two tables. All this explanation, we'll understand it better during the demo section. So I've mentioned the types of cardinality that we have. I've mentioned this many to one, one to many, and so this the end of my slides. So all those rhetorics, I will bring it on board in our demo session. Confirm you can hear me before I start. Hello. Am I
We can
still?
hear you, Mr. Rashid, please. We can hear you.
Oh, so now this is my Google, so I need to move to fabrics. Let me just type fabrics. Although I've been using fabrics, so it will just take me directly to the platform. But if you are new and you have not been using fabric, you might need to get this link I talk about at the beginning to help you okay, this one. Oh, sorry, I may need to escape, then click on this, then this. So I may need to drop this link on the chat room. Just a minute. This is the chat room. So if you want to follow us as we proceed on the journey, you can just copy the link and let's move together. So okay, so it's already in the chat room now. So I only need this one, this home. All I need to is to copy here, Control C, and I move straight to my, okay, it has even opened the environment for me. So if you are a newbie and you are just exploring fabrics, so this is what you will see. This is the how the platform will look like. At the BI, you see data factory, you see data activator, and you also see Synapse data engineering, Synapse data science, Synapse data warehouse, and real-time analytics. So for you to now activate it, you have a developer account that you can create to help you. I have already created one, so I may not need a developer account. I mean, but for you that is new, you might need to create one and enjoy it. So let's say this is right. My I'm on try. I'm enjoying my try. You can see I've activated it. So you can there in the link that I sent. There is a link that can guide you as to how you can activate your developer accounts. So the next thing we do here is that, okay, let me see what I have here. So this is my workspace. You can see is reading my name. So we are on Power BI experience, and so there are some other experiences that we can explore. Just click on the Power BI; it shows you every other experiences. Now, the next thing to do now is for us to create a workspace for the job we want to do. Now, there is workspace and there are my workspaces. It's not the same. So workspace is a place that I can just go to and create a workspace for the job I need to do concerning this project. So anything I do, we move to my workspaces. So because of this class, I will have to create a new workspace. I will hit new and it tells me create a workspace. So we will need to name our workspace. Let me call it fabric. Let me call it fabric 05. What works for you? Or let me say fabric week 3. What is our description? So our description will be DAX and data modeling in Fabric. So after I've done that, if your organization is an organization that has a logo, you can just upload the logo. But for me, I do not really need all that. So I've already activated my trial, but if you have not, you are new, you will need to click on advanced and make sure you select your trial. Let me show that. Okay, so it's not moving because I've already activated my own trial. So at this point, I will have to apply. It will create a workspace for me. So it depends on your internet speed. This is Nigeria. Sometimes our internet will not be as fast as we want it to be. So this is Fabric Week 3. It has created um, a workspace for me, but now I need to create a lake house. I need to create a lake house. How can I do this? I can just click on either plus here, more. I will need to navigate to our data engineering platform. This is the lake house. I will need to hit on lake house. So when I hit on this lake house, I can name my lake house Fabric Fabric Week 3 for my lake house. Then I create my lake house. It will take some minutes. So having achieved this, the next thing that we will do right now, you can see it is loading. Whenever you create a lake house, it will tell you when it has been created. Now, this is our lake house. This is our lake house. Okay, you can see my SQL endpoint, my SQL analytics endpoint is still loading. If you look at my file right here, that was why it has not sent us any message as to tell us that our lakehouse has been created. Okay, can you see successfully created SQL analytics endpoints? You can now proceed. Now, at this point, what do we need to do? We will need to come right here. This our lakehouse is empty. We will need to bring in we need to create our data flow. So now you can do it here. You can also equally do it here. So it depends on the kind of data that you are bringing onto the space on the project that you want to do. So it's getting ready. So let's give it some time to get ready. I think okay, it's still loading. So for me, I like to rename my data flow. It's writing data flow 1, but let me just add something. I'm doing Fabric Week 3 data flow, so I can leave it like that. So I'm the owner. So now here I am. You can see this my environment looks like what we have in Power Query Editor, but it's not Power Query Editor. So I will need to bring my data on board. So I will be bringing my data. My data is Excel sheet. Then I will click on Excel workbook. whatever the kind of data that you might want to use. There are provision for it there. So I will have to click on upload. You can see even the upload is still preview. There is still a lot of work ongoing there. So I will now click on my browse. So then I will now navigate to where I kept my data. You should where you keep data is on is inside. I have a fabric class. Let me check here. So I want to use, and I will click, and it auto connects to my data source. And as you can see, it's already establishing a connection. Is someone following? Any question here where we have gotten to? Hello, class. Any question? Am I still audible? Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to be sure that I'm not the only one talking. So it's still connecting. Upload successfully. So after this uploads, then I can click on next. When I click on next, it takes me to this environment that we moved from when we started the connection. Can you see? Now we need to choose our data here that we need to move to into our data flow. Now we cannot move everything into our data flow. Why? Because the first data, the first 5 are tables, while the last 5 are sheets. So moving everything is just will amount to repetition. So for me, the right thing to do is just to select the first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after picking these first 5, then we hit our create button. After hitting our create button, it will take us back to the initial page where we started our job from. Now, on this environment, there are a lot of things we can do. You can, do a lot of transformation here. You can combine, you can merge, you can manage connection, you can enter data, you can do a lot of things. So if there is any transformation, it's especially if it has to do with data cleaning, if you need to clean your data very well, because failure to clean your data very well will amount to you getting a wrong result. It won't give you the true picture of what those data represent. So it is on this environment, you need to take a proper look at your data. If it's we are already watching, so it has not. Okay, now I think it's fine now. So my number one observation, excuse me, my number one observation dates. Purchase date, it appears in figures. So we can start our cleaning from here. Though we are not doing data cleaning today, but that doesn't mean that anything that will affect our report, we need to fix it. We need to fix them. And that is exactly what I'm trying to do. So when I click on this, it should give me an option to change it to dates. Why? Okay, let me right click and see. Think is network. I may need to, okay. I do not even need all this. Ordinarily, I should just, okay. Ordinarily is what I should get. Yeah, this is what I should get. So I will need to change it to date instead of number. So when I click on date, replace current, add new step, I can just click on add new step, and that 43,101, 43,101 that we are seeing we now transform to a normal dates. Yeah, can we see it has changed? So I can still do some cleaning here. So for me, this sales underscore data, for me, it's too long. You can just double click and just make it only sales data, cancel it, and hit your enter button. It will reduce it. Do the same to the products data. Double click. When you double click, then you hit cancel. So products. Then we do the third one also like that. These are normal cleaning that we do in Power BI. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations, and I hit my enter. Then I hit my customer data also. Customers, I hit enter. Likewise, the last one that is salespeople data. I double click, cancel the data and the underscore, and I hit enter. So I think it looks neater than what is obtainable before. Now, the next thing here, we need to bring our date table to this data flow environment. How can we achieve this? There is a date table code that we all use. Let me quickly navigate to my desktop. It should be on my desktop. So let me check tax. Okay, let me check fabric class. Oh no, not this one. Not this one. Let me just search here to save my time. Table. Okay, this is the table I'm talking about. I don't really know where I kept it, but at least I was able to search it out. So all you need to do is Control A and Control C. Just do your Control A and Control C. When you do your Control A and Control C, go back to your data, go back to your working environment. And so you click on your Get Data and look for your blank query. When your blank query loads, I think there is a little delay. Okay. So it's loading now. So you will need to highlight all this and Control V. After doing this, you click on Next. After you click on Next, okay, so we now have, okay, we now have our table query. So you need to study your data. So I've already studied the data. So the table starts from 1st of January 2018, and the end date is December 31st, 2021. And so the data you are using, looking at this place, this is financial year start months. Now you need to understand the company data that you are using for your projects, but for the purpose of this project, this training, the financial year of this organization starts on July, and so I'm going to put 7. So what you will put here depends on some organization starts in January, some February, some March, some December. So you must make sure you know the financial year of the organization data that you're using. So for the purpose of this project, we shall be using July. And you click on Invoke. When we click on Invoke, it will help us create our dates table. Slow, just bear with me. But it's not enough. I will need to rename the table. So you can click your rename here, or you can double click. This is rename. So I can, what's going on? Rename. Okay, so I can call it dates. Hit your enter button, then it saves. So for me, I like to group my tables into data model. It's your choice, but for me, I like, so at this point, I will hit my sales, hit my control button, hit my product, hit my location, hit my customers, hit my salespeople, and okay, so I've hit the 6. Did I right click on it? No, okay, no. Let me start. Then I will hit my salespeople. Ensure that all of them are highlighted before you right click, then create a new group. Then I can call this my data model. I haven't done this. I can click my OK. Then the last one here, I can right click on this one too, then move it to a new group, and I can call this new group, okay, I can just hit new group to call this one my parameter. And I hit my OK button. So I haven't done this, so I will look at my tables one after the other again and be sure that everything is fine. Ensure that your text, okay, well, there's something we need to do here. Now, if you look at our original data for this class, if you check the discount code, you will see that it's empty, and that is why we are seeing this null. And so they didn't give us anything, but I can just right click and do a replace value instead of having null in your table. You can do a replace value and just put something there. So I can just put maybe not NA applicable in error. So then you hit your OK button. It's loading. I need to see it first before I move on. Thank you. You can see that already it has aligned to the right because it is not number. So it is text, not number. So I will hit on my texts, which I have done. There is a little lag. So at this point, I think our table is now okay. Let me check the location table too, if there is any cleaning that will be necessary. I do not think there is anything I need to do. So I quickly go to my customer table. I can go to my sales table. Then I move straight to my dates. So I think my date looks fine. I think we are cool. So at this point, what we need to do now is for us to publish our data. You come here. I publish now or publish later. So hit on our publish. After hitting on our publish, it take us onto our data flow. Totally new. It's loading. You can see that it's rolling down here. If you are replicating what we are doing, it's I'm just trying. Okay, can we see? So now we can see that it is still rolling. You can see our data flow is still rolling. It is still rolling. So as a default, when you create a workspace, it comes with a lake house, a semantic model, and a SQL analytics, as you can see here. Data flow has been published successfully. We can just go back to our lake house. The network sometimes can delay. That way, at your end, don't worry, you might need to refresh. You might need to refresh. Can you see? So it's loading. I think now it has finished. endpoints. Can you see? This is our lake house here, and this is our SQL endpoint. So lake house from here, I'll need to go back to our lake house because that is where we need to work. So you can see it, you can see already here. You have your customer, you have your everything that you need to work. What's next? The next thing we do here, let's quickly okay, let me quickly take us to our endpoint. I think that is where we will need to look at some things. Here you can see if you need to do new query for SQL experts, all you need is just to come here, do your query and run it. But that is not what I want to do. I want to do our modeling. So at this point, so here are we. Let me just close it out to have enough space. So this is all our tables in our data model. This is all our tables, but we do not really need these plenty tables. So let me quickly open another page to pick on the need. So all we need to do is just drag your dates, drag your location, drag your products, drag your sales. And we need to zoom out a little for us to see. Okay, then your sales people. Now, I haven't achieved this. Okay, no, my sales is not supposed to be there. Let me drag down my sales because my sales is the fact table. Every other ones, they are all dimension table. So I think there is still one outstanding. Let me check. We have dates, location, product, sales people. Customer. I did not pick customer, so I will need to drag my customer also. So we know for some of us who are good users of Power BI, you know, agree with me that this is how you set your table, your dimension table, you know, will be at the top while your fact table will be down because that is your activity table. Now, so we need to establish a connection. Now, now I will need to tell us this before we start. We'll always drag from your fact table into your dimension table. So you need to establish a connection because our fact table needs to be talking to our dimension table. So let me start with location. I can see location ID. Then I will drag my location here to my location ID here. This is my location ID. I haven't done that. It will ask me some question. A new relationship, select table and column that are related. Table 1 is this and table 2 is location. So in the cardinality, it's showing me many to 1, which is not right. So you change it to 1 to many. When you change it to 1 to many, you click your OK. After clicking your OK, it should establish. No, the thing is not right. It's not right. I will need to do that again. Just double click. Can you see? So obviously, when I change it, it did not change. So watch out for this while you are doing your own work to ensure that it changed. Okay, now it has changed. So we quickly look at our products. I will have to draw product ID onto my product ID in the dimension table. Obviously it didn't move, so I'll do it again. The same question will pop up. Just make sure you change your cardinality from many to one to many. And that's exactly what I am doing now. You see the same error, so I will need to drag this one a little so that I can see it. Okay, so it still did not, it's not correct. I will still need to do it again. Just hit this line. It's okay, so it didn't change, so I will change it again. I don't know why it doesn't change once, but just ensure that you check, because if you don't get it right, obviously it will affect your final report. So I need to do for others too. I've done for products. I've done for product and location. Now I need to do for don't know what. Okay, let me zoom out and see, because I'm not seeing other parameters. Let me try and open this. Okay, it's finished. Then I need to increase it. Customer, I can see customer ID. Then I drag my customer ID to customer ID on top of customer ID in my dimension table. The same question, the same dialog box will pop up, and I will now hit one to many. I will hit my OK. Okay, it still did not change. I don't know why this thing wants us to be doing it 2 times. I don't know why. And we don't have time. But we'll do the little. Obviously, there is no way we can finish everything here. What we're just doing here is just giving you an hint that you need to work with. So salesperson ID. Okay, this is salesperson ID. Then I click salesperson ID, drag it onto this. Obviously, it did not move. Let me do it again. And here it is. Same question. I will need to.
You might not have to change it actually. Maybe you should just say okay, based on the suggestion, and see what you get.
Okay, I've tried it before. When I tried it, okay, let's go with that and see. Okay, it appears it worked. So it was okay. When I was doing my practice, it was actually giving that challenge, so I will have to do it over and over again. So this is my dates, and the purchase date is the only date it can talk to. So let me just click OK and see if it's going to work this time around. I think it worked. So at this point, we have established our data model. Any question before we move on? Any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, can you tell us your name before you ask your question?
Okay, my name is Imabum.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that when you were trying to connect the dimension tables to the fact table, you kept saying that it was not connecting. How were you able to figure that out? Because I tried to see and I did not know. Is it because of the cardinality?
Yeah, you need to work with your cardinality. This is what we did. Let me just quickly go back there and show you. Let me just use this one as an example. Double click. Can you see it? And when it's when actually when it didn't connect, it's not because of the cardinality. It was because when I drag it, it did not establish a connection. But when I establish a connection, the star should be on the fact table, not dimension table. So
Okay, the
I have to
star should
change
be
it
on the fact table.
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay. Thank you.
So I think this one too is not supposed to be the way it is. I'm seeing many to one, and it's not supposed to be many to one.
Yes, even the last dimension, it was
should
many
be
to
one.
one also.
You are fine.
So
It is fine. You are fine, actually.
we are okay now. Can you see? You can see that all the stars are on the fact table.
Yes, I can see that. Yes, I can.
So
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now we can go to our data model and let's see what we can do. So ordinarily we should come here and be doing our measure, but you can see is great. Maybe because Fabric is still on preview mode. That is why, because ordinarily we should be able to do our measure here. If we need to do a measure, do a new report, as the case may be, we can do it here. But because of this training, we can still do something by going to do some DAX before we call it a day. So we have been able to achieve our data modeling great platform, which is what we are promoting. But we would need to do some DAX. But because this new measure is grayed out, so there is no way we can work here. Probably they are still doing on it. I don't know, because ordinarily it's not supposed to grade out, and I've made some calls, made some research. I've not gotten any answer, so it's still there. It's still like that on on this platform. So hopefully, in the next few days, it should be activated. Because what we should be doing now is that we should just continue to do our DAX. So I will need to launch my Power BI now. It takes some seconds to launch. As the Power BI is launching, I will be entertaining question. I will be entertaining question. If you have any question, let's look at it together before we go far. Okay, so yeah, I just have to use this because I don't want to, end this class without doing DAX. So I will just do one or two DAX. I know a lot of people on this call, they know what DAX is. But if you are a new person in this journey, you are just learning Power BI. You can see me after this class. I have a community where I take newbies for free, on basics on Power BI, so that when you're on platform like this and they are saying anything or they are doing anything, you already know what they are talking about. So I've already connected my data, and it's establishing a connection to my new Power BI desktop. I won't be able to do the cleanings that I did earlier to save our time, because I've done the necessary cleaning that I need to do on a Fabric platform. But because of DAX, we need to come here and at least let's have some. We might not be able to do much, maybe 3, 4, 5 DAX function, just to before we take this thing home. So as I said earlier, I will need to select the first five tables. After select, because picking the whole tables is just repetition, as I've said earlier. One is a table, one is a sheet, so there is no point picking. So I click on my transform, takes me to my Power BI. So I will need to bring my table also on here. Let me quickly check if it's still there. Okay, thank God it's here. So Control C, then I go to my Power BI. Here, look for my new source. Check my blank query. No, before I do that, I will need to click on this. So I think I will have to delete this. Yes, I will need to delete this. Then I will start it again. Check my blank query. No. No, I need to do this advanced editor. Then go to my blank query, click my blank query, go to my advanced editor. Then I will highlight this. Then Control V. Then I will hit my done. And so I will need to put my dates. Okay, this date is month first. So I think 1/1/20, and this will be 12/31 to 2021. So as I said earlier, this is financial year starts month. So this data that we're using, the financial year start month is July. So we hit 7 and we click on invoke. When we click on our invoke, what that will do for us is that it will create our date table. We can now rename it, call it dates. Then we hit our enter, then we drag it up. When we drag it up, hit this, it's your control key, hit this, hit this, hit this, hit your sales data and this. And the last one, then I like to group it, new group. And in the new group, I can call this my data model. Then I hit my OK. Then the last one, which is I can just make this one to move it to a new group. Then I can call this one my parameter. So I think at this point, we can now move into, can just hit our close and apply. So it's now establishing a connection, and we do some few tasks before we call it a day. So establish, I'm not signed in. If I'm signing, we can also here, if we move to our, let me just, this is my SQL point. Let me go to my lake house. Now, we can see we have what we call semantic model here. Now, we can connect to Power BI desktop through this semantic model from here. We can connect to our Power BI desktop, but that will be a long shot for now. So let me just quickly go back to my Power BI desktop to see if I can do what I had to do. Okay, so it has loaded. Then let me quickly do some few DAX function that I need to do. So let me go to my table view here. In this my table view, okay, it's on customers. So I really want to look at the sales table. What do we have in the sales table? Okay, this is my sales table. So the sales table has quantity at, oh, I need to change these dates, but never mind, we are not using it. So obviously a lot of information that we need for this calculation that we need to do are residents here. So, but we need to move them onto our sales table. How can we achieve this? So all we need to do is hit our sales table. I'm going back to sales table, then look for a new column. When you hit your new column, then it will bring up our tax bar, working on it. So in the tax bar, we can just type our price. So there's a function called related. What does related does for you? Related returns a related value from another table. Now, it's asking us for the column name. Which table do you want related to go? We want related to go to product table and look for price for us, which is the current price, and bring it into sales table. So already we have our price. Not only that, there are still some information required. We have quantity. We equally have cost. Now, there is difference between price and cost price. Now, when you buy a product for, let's say you are a manufacturer, it costs you 200 naira to produce a particular product, and you sold it for probably 300 naira. So your cost of production is 200 naira, and your profit and your selling price is 350. So the difference between your costs and sales price is your profits. So obviously we still need to bring in our cost here. It's the same function we're going to use. Create another column. After creating this column, we'll look for, okay, it's working on it. So now we put our costs of goods. Now we use that same related function to return a value from the other table. In that same product table, you need to put the product's name, because if you don't put the table name, it will not know where to return it from. Then we look for our cost. So this is our costs. Don't forget, always close your brackets and hit your enter. Okay, so we have cost of goods sold, we have price, we have quantity. Now we can start our calculation. So I may not need to continue to create column. I can just use measure at this point. So, but before I go, there are some calculation that we can do again from here. But let me just go back to my view and let's look at measure. Let's say we want to know let's say we want to know our total transaction, for instance. The whole transaction, let me see, total transaction, for instance. Oh, sorry, there was a mistake there. Let me hit the measure back. Okay, total transaction. So equals to, there is a function called counts rows. What does count rows does for you? It counts every rows in our table. And so what's the name of our table? Sales data. When you hit our sales data, then you close it. Sorry. Always close your brackets. You hit your enter. So our total transaction now, we can just hit our card and drag it here. Either way, you can drag it on your Canva or on the field. It will give you the same result. So our total transaction is 15K. So you can still do another one. Say we want to do, at least we have some information to work with now. Let's say wants to do, say, total quantity. Total on TT also you can say sum x no sum my column name is quantity. Quantity is here. Then I will close my column bracket, and I hit my enter. So now we have created like two measure. So you may not need to be looking for your measures here and there. So it will be better we create a folder where we can keep all our calculations. And how can we achieve this? So I can just I will go back to home, look for enter data. Now when I hit my enter data, it will pop up. Can anyone hear me? Am I still audible?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yes.
loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay, so I can just call this one
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
calculations. Then I can just click on load. Now, having clicked on load, the next thing I will do is, let me find my calculation table. So I will need to close all this. Why is this thing hanging? Okay, still establishing a connection. So I think it's done now. You can bring all these things together here. So if I hit my transaction, because the total transaction ID and total quantity, they are all in customer table. So if I hit my total transaction now, are you not responding? Okay, I think it has responded now. If I hit my total quantity, now it brings out home table for me. Now you come here where you see total quantity. Look at home table. There is a drop down arrow under home table. You click on that drop down arrow and look for your calculation. When you hit your calculation, what is going to happen now is that measure that we did, total quantity, will now move into that so you can see total quantity is there. You do the same thing for, okay, still working on it. Let me give it time. So you can do the same thing to total transaction and, scroll down, look for your calculation. It has moved there. So when you look at if you hit your arrow here now, okay, it's still establishing a connection. Okay, so now I can now, if I open it now, this column 1, I don't really need it. I can just right click on it and delete from my model. Are you sure you want to delete it? I can just delete it. Do some few ones. Make sure now we have created a calculation table where we want to put in our measure. So anytime you need to, create a new measure, ensure that you are on that folder. I will need to do away with this, remove. So you can click anywhere around there. If I click on total quantity now, and I calculate my cost of goods sold, for instance, total costs of goods. So equals to cost of sold will be quantity multiplied by, can someone help me? Quantity multiplied by what? Quantity multiplied by what? Can someone help me, please? Can someone help me? Quantity multiplied by cost price. Thank you. So how do we get our cost price? I think cost price should be in our sales table.
Sorry, you want to calculate total cost of goods sold.
Yes.
Quantity multiplied by related. You can use related.
Okay.
I guess you want to call.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's what I should have done. Then what am I telling you? Related, we now go to a column called in the, what's it called now? In the product table.
But hold on. Are you calculating measure, or because you didn't start with the function? You didn't start with the function. You didn't start with the function before total quantity. That's some X.
Okay. Okay, some X.
Yeah.
Then I think I will need to use my quantity here.
You
My
mentioned the name of the
table is sales table.
Yeah.
Comma.
Correct.
Then I will look for quantity
times related.
Sales data
times related.
Okay. Related. No, not you. I'm looking for costs.
Is cost not in product? I think it's
supposed to be in product.
Okay, I think it's in product.
It should be in products. When I do my product data, then okay, I think this is what I need. So then I close it now. This is my okay. So let me confirm what I've done. So this is my customer name. Let me drag my customer name to fields. And let me bring my cost of goods sold. Okay, so I can put this one on a focus mode. So this is my cost of goods sold. Let's say I need to do my another measure, and this time around I'm looking for my let's say I'm looking for my total sales. So this time around we use the same function, some X, quantity, we have it before. Let me first of all look for the sales data, comma, then quantity, multiplied by related then I'm in my product table. In my product table, I'm looking for price. Do I have price here? Current price. Then I close the brackets. I hit enter. Then I can now drag my total sales also onto this. You can see, so you can do it on and on. Put total transaction, put total quantity. So these are the few DAX that we have been able to create in this little time. So we can just go on and on like that. So at this point, the floor is open for questions. Questions, please. So we are not supposed to actually use Power BI because on Power BI desktop, we're supposed to do all that we need to do on Microsoft Fabric's platform. But because of the challenge, you can see my measure here is grayed out. So I just have to improvise and use that platform to create that. So hopefully the next few days they should be able to do something. So any question, please? No question? Hello?
Please, if you don't want to speak, can we drop any questions we have in chat for the facilitator to answer, please? Okay, if there's no question, I think we'll call it a day. Thank you, Mr. Rashid. We are grateful. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Okay, bye everyone. So before we go, you mind